Hello, I am Commodore Lemon and welcome to my channel. Today I want to look at the BBC article and tweet dated the 24th of July 2022, Climate Change, How to Talk to a Denier. Now the article is by Merlin Thomas and Marco Silva, the BBC climate disinformation reporters. So the BBC have dedicated reporters just dealing with what they see as climate disinformation. And they use the word denier here. They use that on various subjects to describe people who do not agree with their narrative on things like climate change, on COVID, on vaccination. And it shows just how weak and flimsy their arguments are that they have to resort to this shady tactic of name calling. Now this is Merlin Thomas's tweet. How this heatwave isn't like the one in 1976. There have been lots of comparisons, so we've busted some myths and gathered together the facts. Well, they didn't address the main fact that Carol Bode raised here, that this heatwave lasted for 2 days. The one in 1976 lasted for 2 months. The BBC are really annoyed that people are still alive that remember the 1976 heatwave and how long it lasted, and they've just failed to address this at all and just glossed over it. Now, Marco Silva says a dozen scientists, politicians and campaigners say that they have been tricked into participating in online events promoting climate change denial. What that means is that they have engaged in climate debates and been roundly defeated, and now they're crying foul, claiming that they were tricked into doing it, because these people all work in bubbles. They work beside people who vote like them, who think like them, who have the same outlook on life, who have the same backgrounds or form the same backgrounds. They might look a little bit different from each other, they might have different tastes and life partners and things like that, but they are absolutely lacking in diversity of thought. And so when they encounter someone with a different argument for them, they don't know how to handle it, because they've lived in this BBC bubble for so long, and then they have to cry foul and say, oh, we were tricked into doing it. And they're supposed to be intelligent people. If their arguments were that strong, they would be able to challenge them, and they just get caught out. Here we have one woman telling another woman the error of her ways with regards climate change. This is Lance Lawson and his dad Brian Anderson. It was during a school pickup a few years ago that Lance Lawson first asked his father about his views on global warming. He basically told me something along the lines of, "It's nonsense," Lance recalls. His dad spoke of unscrupulous politicians fear-mongering for electoral gain. Well, I mean, that doesn't sound too far-fetched. Politicians are creating fear and trying to win elections all the time by doing that. Climate change, he told Lance, was completely overblown. So Brian is not a climate change denier, like the BBC are trying to make out. He is just a sceptic to the amount of climate change that is going on. Now, down to this guy, Sander van Linden. I've checked out his Twitter feed. He is at Cambridge, and he's basically, his whole job is calling anyone a conspiracy theorist who does not agree with the globalist agenda. And if we go to the bottom here, breakthrough moment. This is with Lance and Brian. With time and patience, Lance managed to convince his father that climate change was real, so much so that he was surprised by his own success. One time my dad came downstairs in the middle of the night, so enthused after watching a documentary about deforestation that he was like, "Lance, you won't believe what's going on in the rainforest." It was a breathtaking moment to see him so engaged. So, not only it wasn't Lance that managed to talk his dad uh, round, um, it was a documentary, but his dad is just not liking the fact that deforestation is happening in Amazon. And the BBC are trying to link this to climate change. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sure many climate skeptics are keen environmentalists. They care about pollution, they care about clean air and clean water and that. But the BBC are just trying to make out that because he'd seen a documentary on deforestation of the Amazonian rainforest, that that was him converted to being a climate change activist. It's absolutely ridiculous stuff by the BBC, but it's what we've claimed to expect from them. They've went totally, full partridge when it comes to this 2 days of climate change that we've seen, and it's just been absolutely ridiculous. They've went off the deep end, and they're just trying to scare people. But fortunately, I think people are wise to them, and we're seeing all kinds of things happening over the globe with things like the Dutch farmers' protests now spreading all across the globe. Obviously, we had the Canadian truck protest earlier on in the year, but I think people are becoming wise to this absolute nonsense and this complete racket that the globalists are trying to inflict upon us with their Great Reset and their 2030 agenda, and it's great to see the people fighting back. Thanks for watching.